Welcome back to Moneyline Plus. I hope you're having a great start to your weekend. A lot of sports games on today. We have sporting events in general. We have the UFC pay-per-view on tonight. The NCAA tournament continues. And there's a good slate of NBA games. So good opportunity to make some money. And I'm ready to dive right into it. So please hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And yeah, let's get right to it. So if you caught my last show, you know that I hit my official play, which was Philly minus 4.5. Now I had to take them at -6. I don't like putting in bets hours before the game starts. I usually wait until 15, 20 minutes before the game starts. So I know everything about the injuries and COVID protocol, but I had to take them at -6. Wasn't worried about it. I still hit it. So I'm hoping to carry that momentum into today. Okay. Now there's 9 games on tonight. I have an official play on 2 of them. But I'm going to run through the other 7 just so you can kind of get a gist of how I'm feeling. So the first one, Knicks at the Bucks, -10. 10 points is a lot, but the Bucks just lost to the Celtics last night at home. This game's at home too. I don't expect them to lose back-to-back home games. So 10 is a lot, but I would go with the Bucks in this one. Cavs at the Kings. Kings -7. The Cavs just lost last night to the Lakers. I think they probably were trying to get up for that Laker game too and just looked over this Kings game. I see the Kings covering, running up and down the court on the Cavs, so I would pick the Kings -7. Rockets -5 at the Timberwolves. Now, both of these teams played each other last night. The Rockets won. Straight up as a rule, when 2 teams play against each other, I usually go the opposite way of how the result was in the first game. So if it's Rockets -5 on this one and they won last night, I'm going to take the Timberwolves plus the 5 in this game. The Mavericks -1.5 to the Pelicans. Now, both of these teams played last night. The Mavericks lost to the Pacers. Pelicans lost to the Nuggets. But Luka didn't play, and that's a big key to this. He'll have rested legs. So I would, because of that, I would take the Mavericks minus the 1.5. Next game, Celtics -10 to the Thunder. I don't know why the Celtics are favored by 10 points. I would never take the Celtics plus 10 against anybody. So if SGA is playing for the Thunder and Horford, I would take even if it's just SGA, I would take the Thunder plus the 10 points against the Celtics. Bulls at the Spurs -2. This one's a pick 'em to me. I don't know which way this is gonna go. If I had to pick, I think I would go with the Spurs just because they haven't really added anybody to the team like the Bulls are trying to, and they just have a better coach. So I would ride with the Spurs, but I would just stay away from this game. And the final one before we get to my plays, Grizzlies at the Jazz. Jazz -10.5. They just played last night. Again, I would flip that. The Grizzlies kept it within 3 points last night, and it was the spread was 10.5 points last night too. So tonight, I would take the Grizzlies plus the 10.5. They might pull off the upset, but I expect them to keep this game close too. Now, on to my 2 official plays of the night. The first one is the Pistons fly to Washington to face the Wizards. Now, the line right now is Wizards -3.5. So the Pistons played last night to the Brooklyn Nets. It was Blake Griffin's homecoming. That's what you want to call it. And you can kind of tell there was some chippiness in that game. The Pistons wanted to win that one. The Pistons just haven't been consistent at all. They play up to good teams and play down to bad teams. So it's just really hard to gauge how they're going to play every night. Now, Jeremy Grant is a bright spot for them. The only bright spot, really. He's probably going to win the most improved player of the year. So he's been doing his thing, but I just don't know if he'll be enough to keep up with a rested Westbrook and Bradley Beal. Okay, now both of these teams are on a 3-game losing streak, so something has to give. And the Wizards are top 10 in points per game. That's kind of where I'm hanging my hat on this one. Because the Pistons played last night and got up for that game against the Nets. I think they're overlooking the Wizards with the rested Bradley Beal and Westbrook. I think they run up the score, run up and down the court, and I think they win this game. So I would check the injury report, do that, make sure both of the stars for the Wizards are playing. But if they are, My play for this one would be the Wizards minus the 3.5 points. So on to my second game. Is the Philadelphia 76ers head to Los Angeles to take on the Clippers. The line right now is the Clippers minus 3.5. Now this game is the game of the night for me. I'm excited for this one. I can't wait to see Kawhi and Ben Simmons match up against each other. That's always a fun time. Now the injuries for this game: Pat Beverly, and Ibaka for the Clippers. I don't think they're gonna play, and Embiid's been out for 2 weeks. But it hasn't seemed to slow down Philly one bit. They've been on fire lately, okay? They've been covering spreads. They're 32-13 on the season. That's best for the best record in the Eastern Conference right now. And over the last 10 games, they're 9-1, just rolling through teams. They have a winning record against the spread, and as you see, they're top 10 in almost everything but assist, okay? That's just absolutely great. I love this team. I love this Philly team. I love what Doc Rivers has done with this team, and the culture has seemed to really change it. And yeah, they look like a well-oiled machine, okay? Now, don't get it twisted though. The Clippers are just as good, all right? They're 30-16 on the season, and that's third. That's best for best in the West. And they haven't even had a healthy lineup all year. Guys have been in and out, left and right. So their team rankings, you can't really put a lot of stock into it. Because they just haven't had a full team. But now they're starting to get healthier and healthier, and they are looking scarier and scarier, okay? Both of these teams are on a 4-game win streak, and I expect this one to get a little chippy. If you don't remember almost seems like a decade, Doc Rivers was the coach for the Clippers, okay? And they lost to the Nuggets in the second round of the playoffs, ended up firing Doc Rivers, and then hired the assistant coach, Tyronn Lue. Well, it seems like this has worked out for both teams because the Clippers have really taken form under Tyronn Lue, and the 76ers look like a completely different team under Doc Rivers, okay? So it looks like both of these teams made the right decision. Now, I think Doc, though, has this game scheduled or circled on his calendar for a while now. If there's anyone in the league that knows the Clippers better than any other coach, it's Doc Rivers. He knows the tendencies, he knows sets, he knows everything, and he knows everything about the assistant coach too. So I think he's been looking forward to this one. I think he has a good game plan for this one. Ben Simmons could really slow down Kawhi. Again, Ben Simmons to me is the best on-ball defender in the league. If Paul George comes to play, the Clippers have a good chance of winning this game, but I can never trust him. And I just love how the 76ers are playing together. So you give me all that, and you're going to give me 3.5 points if I take Philly. I think they're going to pull out this upset. But if you're going to give me the 3.5 points, I'm going to take that. So my official play for this one would be Philly plus the 3.5. So just a quick recap of my 2 plays for tonight. It would be the Wizards minus 3.5 and Philly plus the 3.5, okay? So, yeah, I hope you got some good info from today's video. I hope I keep this momentum going. Hope I make some money on Oral Roberts. I need him to win in the NCAA tournament. And, yeah, so have a good rest of your weekend, and good luck tonight.